Welcome back to 1987 as we continue our look at the Visionaries toy line by Hasbro. In our previous Visionaries episode, we started checking out the carded figures, and so far we've covered the Spectral Knights Arzon and Leoric, as well as the Darkling Lords Cryotek and Sindar. Now we only have two carded hero figures left, Witterquick and Cryotek, and today we'll be checking out the Spectral Knight Cryotek, here on KREED'S Collection. Hey, welcome back to another episode of KREED'S Collection. Today we're taking a look at the heroic Spectral Knight Cryotek from the 1987 toy line Visionaries by Hasbro. Cryotek is from the frozen lands of Northalia, where time is spent either working, sleeping, or drinking. He's the oldest of the Spectral Knights and doesn't really get the younger members of the group. They think he's an uptight old-timer that needs to lighten up, and he thinks they should straighten up and get serious. Because of his grumpy nature, the younger Spectral Knights tend to pick on Cryotek. Regardless of this, he is a self-sacrificing warrior who will charge blindly into battle without a single thought for his own safety. And now that we know a little bit more about Cryotek, let's take a closer look. Of course, Cryotek is just as detailed as all the other Spectral Knights, and you can see that by this up-close look, but I do find that his helmet might be the most ill-fitting, as you can see here. I don't actually dislike the design of it, but I just think it looks a little bulky on his head. And here he is, of course, without his helmet. Cryotek's mystical personality is the bear, and it symbolizes an imposing mass of sheer brawn and muscle. The hologram is held up mostly pretty well with only a few black marks on it, and I have to say it really surprises me that a guy who can turn into a bear gets picked on. Hey, Cryotek, you should really just put a shirt on, man. What are you talking about? I am wearing a shirt. Really? Then why can I see your bare chest? That is ridiculous. Please stop. Would you say I'm being unbearable? Oh my god. I'm gonna get mad here soon. You're right. We should really bury the hatchet. Where are you going? Alright, let's go ahead and check out some of these details. So the armor looks pretty good. I like these shoulder pads, even though they kind of make me think of seashells. The forearm armor here is pretty cool, as well as the belt. I like both of these. And as we come down farther here to the legs, you can see it looks like he's got hydraulics built in, which makes me think he could take a long fall and land no problem. On the back side here, you can see more detail, like that tubing that goes into the box on his back. But my biggest question is, if there's no technology on the planet of Prismos, what are these things doing? I mean, sure looks like technology to me. But regardless of these inconsistencies, I still love Visionaries. Now we're going to take a look at Cryotek's accessories, starting with his helmet. Like I said earlier, I actually like the design of this. I think the ridges here and the vents look cool. It's just a shame that it doesn't fit his head very well, and I feel like Leoric also suffers from the same problem. Cryotek's main weapon is a flail, which is basically spiked balls on the end of whips, and they're attached to a solid handle. This one's got a little bit of texturing there on it, as you can see, and overall, I like this weapon quite a bit. My only real complaint is that it'd be nice if, instead of being solid, it was nylon or a plastic chain. And it fits in his hand very nicely. That brings us to Cryotek's final accessory, his staff. Here, the first hologram you see is the banner of the Spectral Knights, the unicorn, and the second hologram is Strength, which allows Cryotek to manifest a spectral archer that fires magical arrows, and it looks a little something like this. The details around the edge here are pretty meaningless, but I have to say, if it was just left flat and blank, it'd be boring, so I'm glad they put them on there. And the handle is pretty much the same as all the others. It's got the plus shape to it. And sadly, it's got the same exact issue as all the others. You're going to have a really hard time getting this in either one of these hands. And I mean, maybe you could force it in, but I don't want to risk breaking a thumb off, you know? Now we're going to take a look at Cryotek's articulation. The leg here has a 90-degree bend at the knee, and the hip has a ball joint that kind of gives some flexibility in all directions. Waist has a rubber band, so he can kind of move around also in many directions. Arm can fold down and rotate. Also, it can rotate at the forearm here, which is pretty nice. Head can go down, it can go up, and it can look left and right. Pretty much the same as any G.I. Joe. And that covers all of Cryotek's Articulation. On the back side, you can see Cryotek's copyright information, 1987, Hasbro, made in China. And here's Cryotek's file card. If you'd like to read it, pause now. And now for our He-Man size comparison. Visionaries and Masters figures are quite a bit closer in scale than Masters and G.I. Joe, but for some reason, I never crossed them over. You know, looking back now, it's kind of like, why didn't I? I guess it'll just have to remain a mystery of my 12-year-old mind. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy retrospective on Cryotek from the 1987 Visionaries toy line by Hasbro. Like Leoric, Cryotek is one of the few Visionaries toys I purchased for myself. And it still surprises me that there was never a second series, there was never a playset. It's just a shame because it's a really great toy line. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it and it would help my channel grow. I do a retrospective on a toy from my vintage collection every Wednesday. So hope to see you next week and every week after, here on KREED'S Collection.